What is up, you awesome human beings? Welcome back to another live. This one is going to be particularly helpful for you if you're feeling stressed out, burned out, lethargic, tired, or just like life is feeling more difficult than what it should be. If everything that you want to do is a grind, like in your business, making more money is just hard. It's a hard slog working with your employees, managing them, getting new customers in, looking after your customers, servicing them. It's tiring. Or in your job, right? For you to ascend or just to even get everyday tasks done, to get your boss to not be a dick is difficult, and it's just feeling like a drudge, and it's just tough. With your partner, with your kids, it's like it's really an uphill battle all the time, and they're just draining your energy. Like, you love them, you adore them, but it's just hard. And just even with when it comes to your health and you physically, like, you just don't feel the way that you used to. I'm going to introduce you to a concept called trunks, branches, and leaves, and why focusing on the leaves is killing you. It's just draining you every single day. And I'm going to make this really, really simple, because once you get this very, very easy concept, and I'll break you down exactly what you need to do. Once you get this, it's going to shift everything and make everything super, super easy. A year ago today, things were quite difficult for me, like in comparison to where we are right now. So for those of you who don't know me, by the way, I'm James Kent. I run JCF Coaching. We're a strategic and performance coaching company, and we help men crush it in work, in their ability to create money and make a shitload of money, working with guys who are, working all the way up to guys who are making like $100 million a year. We make people have better marriages, partnerships, relationships with the people who matter most to them, their kids, wives, partners, etc., and also feel fucking amazing. And this, what we're talking about tonight, is like particularly relevant to me. I was talking to one of my mentors today, Charlie Valor, and he introduced me to this concept, and I absolutely loved it, so I had to share it with you. A year ago from today, things were very, very different. So in the last year, I grew my business 252%, and I went from working 70 hours a week down to 20 hours a week, right? And the reason why I was working 70 hours per week and yet had a much, much smaller business is because I was focusing on the leaves, right? When it comes to business, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your relationships, we often get caught down in the nitty gritty, right? And some of the most common things that we do, and I was a massive offender of this, is focusing on the things that didn't matter. When we run a business, in my case, the things that matter most are, number one, your clients, people, or your customers, people who are coming in and who are paying you and want you to solve their problems. And then the number two after that are your employees, right? And then also, you are in there as well in that mix. So the three most important people. And sometimes, often, we lose track of this and we start putting focus onto areas where we shouldn't. And it was certainly the case with me, where I was chasing fancy things and new niche cool ideas. Like, people would come up and say, hey, James, here's a cool marketing strategy, go try this. Here's a new sales tactic, go try this. Here's a new onboarding tactic, go try this. And pretty much what happened was I was chasing the leaves all the time and I wasn't getting anywhere. And it was only when I started focusing on trunks, on the most important things, that things started getting bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to break this down a little bit further, because I think I can explain a little bit better this way. Most of the time we focus on shit that doesn't matter. All right. And I'm going to start off with an example of when we are focusing on fat loss. Okay. Because everybody knows about fat loss, right? And this concept applies to everything. This applies to the way that you're going about things physically, mentally, your relationships, your business, the whole lot. I want you to apply the same thing here. There are three levels: trunks, branches, and leaves. Trunks are massive, big, thick. Branches are slightly smaller, slightly lighter, slightly easier to do. And leaves are tiny little things, very fast. Trunks take a long time to build. They're very dense, very stable, very long-term. Branches are slightly less so, and then leaves less so again. In fact, leaves are quite quick to make. We can have thousands of leaves on one trunk, right? But it's very, very quick to build these leaves, but they're also not the most stable. And so if we're going to use this trunks, branches, and leaves analogy, let's look at fat loss this way. When most people think about fat loss and losing weight, they start thinking of the leaves. So they think, what supplements can I take? What fat burner can I take? What pills can I pop? What's the new raging diet, right? What are all these things that are going to make me get quick results, okay? And when we focus on the leaves, things are very, very fickle. They flutter in the wind, just like leaves do. We get results, we lose results. We get results, we lose results. We get results, we lose results. Up and down, up and down, up and down. And this is why most people never get anywhere. Because while they're focusing all their time on fixing their leaves and having the prettiest leaves in the world, their branches are shit and their trunk's fucked. And how far do you think you're going to go when you get a trunk? Because the trunk is what provides the nutrition to this whole beast. The trunk is where all the nutrients come up, all the water comes up, where we have all the shit taking place. The trees do. I don't know much about trees, right? But you get my drift. The trunk is the foundation. And yet most people are so obsessed with the fancy leaves, the supplements, the pills, the potions, the powders, that they forget the trunk. They totally neglect it. So if you look at the leaves, that's all your pills, potions, powders, fancy dieting techniques, fancy training techniques. We come back a little bit onto the branch. And we go a little bit more steady, right? The branch is something where we're looking at, maybe looking at your calorie deficit over time, right? Looking at your macronutrients, things which are tried and tested and proven and work, and a little bit more long-term focused, right? And these things definitely work. And you can have great leaves and great branches, but if your trunk's still fucked, life's not going to be very fun for you. Because once again, the pillar or the foundation of everything's missing. And so if we go back and we look at the trunk is what we teach at JCF. The trunk is the nervous system. Because our brain is what regulates absolutely everything. See, our brain regulates every single thing that we do, every single emotion we feel, every single way that we think, our ability to lose fat, our ability to move, everything is regulated by our brain. And if we don't have a healthy trunk, we don't have a healthy brain, we don't have a healthy nervous system, fat loss is going to be really difficult. I'll put it to you this way. Have you ever tried losing fat when you're really, really tired and lethargic and can't be fucked to train? If you're feeling exhausted, your digestion's horrible, your hormones are through the floor, you're anxious, you're depressed, and you're just not motivated to do anything. You just want to sit on the couch, eat Doritos, watch Netflix, have a wank. That's it, right? That's pretty much all you want to do. That's a very difficult way to lose fat. Now let's compare it to the other one, which is if we look after our trunk, you're energetic, you feel good, you're motivated, you're confident, you believe in yourself, you have a crystal clear vision of where you want to go. You can have the same calorie deficit in both instances. You can have the same pills, potions, powders, dieting techniques, all these sorts of things. Which one do you think you're going to get better results on? Every single time when the trunk is healthy, when we're looking after our nervous system, when we're feeling optimal, right? Because our nervous system regulates all that stuff. When we look after that, that is when we will be able to do exceptionally well. Does that make sense? Because if you're neglecting the trunk, you're neglecting the core of yourself, it is always going to be difficult. That is why so many people struggle to lose fat. If we look at these things and everything I'm going to talk about tonight, roughly 90% or more people fail it. 95%, up to 95% of people fail diets. That means any weight that they do lose through a diet, they regain it within a period of a year, right? Up to 95%. Another fun one, 9 in 10 small businesses fail. It's not what you think. 9 in 10 small businesses fail. Well, a lot of people throw this statistic around, right? It's 9 in 10, not small businesses, 9 in 10 businesses fail. A lot of people throw this statistic around, but not many people talk about why. Why is it that you think that a small business fails? Is it because it's just a shit idea? Yeah, sometimes, not often. Is it because the owner's stupid? Sometimes, not often. The most common reason why a small business fails is because, or a business in general, I should stop saying small business, a business in general fails, it's because you start focusing on the leaves. In business, it's very, very easy to fall for tactics. You see everywhere online, everyone's a fucking business coach, right? Some numpty who's ran one business, made $100,000, is now all of a sudden selling business coaching. And he's selling all these wham, bam, fantastic tactics and how to attract clients, how to magically have people knocking on your door for your services. You see that stuff all the time, right? We see lots of it. It's always there. It's popping up in my newsfeed every single day. And they'll be talking about the next big thing. LinkedIn, ManyChat, they're talking about Snapchat, the metaverse advertising, all these little things. They're all leaves, right? They're all leaves because they're little, small, flashy things that aren't long-term. Anything that is easy and short-term is not going to last you well for the long term because leaves come and go. They serve a purpose and there's definitely a time for those things where they can be great. But if you're all relying on leaves and your branches and your trunk isn't doing terribly well, you're missing the point. In business, those little tactics, they're the leaves. Things that are a little bit bigger, the branches. Things like making sure that your systems are in place, making sure that you have appropriate hiring protocols, making sure you have appropriate customer onboarding protocols, customer service protocols, all these things. Heaps of stuff that we've been putting in. We've been going nuts at the moment on our ability to deliver to our customers a much, much higher level of service. It's literally like I'm putting in millions of dollars a year into making this happen, right? We're fucking overhauling everything, right? And that's a branch, and that's very, very important. But you know what the trunk is? Trunk is you. You as the business owner. You as the employee. You are the most important part of everything. See, if you're not well, if your energy is gone, if your motivation is gone, if your charisma, if your confidence, if your self-belief is gone, if your testosterone is gone, if your ability to do your job is gone, you cannot produce anything. So of course you're going to fail. And that's one of the biggest things that everybody underestimates. 9 in 10 businesses fail, not because there's anything wrong with the business, but because there's something wrong with the business owner. Because the business owner is not looking after themselves and not giving them the care that they deserve and that they need. See, we need to all start looking after ourselves because we are the trunk. And let's have a look at another example in the relationship. In relationships, particularly with wives, partners, and kids, in fact, with wives, I see this one all the time. I know a lot of guys who are really, really incredible human beings. And in order for them to help their wives feel love, they'll buy them heaps of shit. They'll buy them fancy cars, fancy clothes, fancy houses, all this sort of stuff, right? And they'll buy them all that. They'll try and go out on dates. They'll try and go out on holidays. So the fancy clothes, cars, all that sort of shit, they're leaves, right? The branches are having time, quality time together, going out on holidays, going out on dates and spending time together. You know the one thing they pretty much always forget? Them. They are the trunk. Your wife is with you, and no other reason, for you, for who you are. And that is in the case of every single relationship, give or take, right? Your partner is with you for you. And if your relationship isn't going as well as what it should be, it's not because you're not buying her enough shit. It's not because you're not spending enough time with her. It's because how you're showing up. If you're always drained, always tired, always lethargic, always fatigued, if you're always feeling like that, well, why would she be happy? Same with your kids. You can fling them as many toys as you want, buy them as many fancy things, take them to as many sport trainings. But if you're not present, if you're not actually there to be able to connect with them, and if you're not actually there to be able to help them, then of course they're not going to be happy. And of course you're not going to feel a connection. Why would you? Because it all starts with you. You are the trunk. You are the pillar. And I think most men underestimate how important they are. In a society where we believe that we need to be humble, I think that we often underestimate our own importance. And I'm here to tell you that you are incredibly important. You are the factor whether your business succeeds or fails. You are the reason why you ascend up a company or whether you don't. You are the reason why you make millions of dollars or whether you don't. You are the reason why you have a fulfilling relationship or you don't. You are the reason why you're an incredible dad or you're not. It is all on you, good and bad. And so if we are going to fix this, we need to focus on the trunk, us. So let me tell you, here's how we've gone. We fix the trunk, okay? When we work with somebody at JCF, we always take the boring approach. I'm not the sexy guy, right? If you want to come in, you want to come work with a coach, and you want some coach to like, here, have some powders, here, have some new diet plans with crazy fucking, magical, drinking fucking unicorn semen that's been, shut out by a monk, right? That's not really what we do. What we do is we focus on the trunks first. See, the trunk of every single human being is our nervous system, right? And here's how we go through and we fix it. Number one, what we need to recognize that within us and how we function, if we want to have optimal energy, optimal motivation, optimal confidence, optimal testosterone, optimal sex drive, optimal ability to perform, what we need to do every single time is we need to make sure that we're focusing on the big things. That means don't go out and buy fucking pre-workouts. Don't buy test boosters. Don't buy all these little things that are leaves, because you know what? If a leaf is on a tree which has a broken, rotting trunk, that leaf will die. These little leaves are not doing you any good. Going out and buying a $69 diet and training plan on the internet is not going to do shit for you. It is not fixing the correct problem. It is fixing a problem, but not the root of the problem. It is fixing a leaf, not the trunk. we're going to fix the trunk. So when we go about fixing the nervous system, here's what we do. Step number one, we need to make it so that we shift from a state of fight or flight into a state of rest and digest, out of the sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system. What this immediately does is this has a hormonal cascade which impacts your whole body. It reduces adrenaline, it reduces cortisol, two of the big stress hormones. It increases testosterone. It optimizes estrogen, which men need, and not many people know this. It allows our organs to be regulated, to actually function properly. It allows our digestive system to work correctly so that we can absorb the nutrients that we need. It gives us more energy. It gives us more motivation. It resets and rewires our neurotransmitters and nervous system and allows us to think clearly, to be calm, to beat anxiety, to beat depression, to beat low energy, to beat brain fog, and to feel on top of our A game. Because once you have this, you can go out and crush it. So what we do, how we fix this, is 3 steps, really. Number one, we go through and we test absolutely everything with the body, understand how it all works, and then we make sure that we go through and we fix the nervous system in the appropriate way. Step number 2 is we teach you habits to do every single day. I've just filmed a fucking ungodly amount of content just recently because we are shifting our course to doing one thing every single week that we are going to perfect. And over a period of 26 weeks, we are going to make you a fucking savage, right? Because all you do is you just do one thing each week really fucking well and you crush it and you get results. It takes you like 20 minutes per week because we're focusing on the trunk 20 minutes per week. Everyone else is just focusing on the leaves for hours and hours. You can put as many hours into leaves as you want. But if you just put a small amount into the trunk, you'll be amazed at how quickly that tree grows. So 2, one thing per week, making it so that we go through and we fix the trunk continually. And the third thing, keep you accountable. Make it so we smack you around if you fuck up. Make it so that you're staying on task. Give you a high five when you win and push you further into growth and build this trunk really strong. And what you'll see when you see a lot of our guys, I'll give you an example, Adam Nash. Adam Nash came to us, and that dude was not in a good way. He was addicted to opioids. He had the testosterone of an 80-year-old man. His marriage was on the rocks. He was earning fuck all money and wasn't in a career that he was happy in. Now, going on a year later, well, actually, I'll first of all start with a 10-week transformation. He tripled his testosterone in 10 weeks. He got off antidepressants in 10 weeks, got off painkillers in 10 weeks. And on top of that, too, pretty much saved his marriage in 10 weeks and saved his relationship with his kids. Plus, now he's making a fucking shitload of money, doing exceptionally well in a career that he loves, where he has infinite potential. Why? Not because we focus on the leaves. We didn't do any career training with him. We didn't do any test boosters with him. We didn't do anything around getting him off antidepressants or anything like that. We simply fixed his trunk. And when you fix the trunk, amazing things happen. Okay. So if you want to learn more about what we do and you want to fix your trunk and you don't want to continue fixing the leaves and keep fucking around and going in that same old circle that so many men do, just what I want you to do, click on the link below. You can put in your details there. Depending where you're watching, you can put in your details there. Click the link below. All right. If you're watching this live right now, just comment trunk down in the comment section and we will give you the information that you need. We can have a chat. We can see how we can help you. And if we can do anything, we'll point you in the right direction and make it so that you go about fixing your trunk. Please do me a favor. Do not be another man who falls for all these marketing gimmicks, right? Who falls for these things of people promising incredible results if you just take their pill, right? Don't stop falling for all these tactics and all these things which are attaching the leaves, right? Don't worry about the leaves. If you mind the trunk, the leaves will look after themselves. On that note, I'll leave you all to it. Click the link below, fill out your information if you want some help. Otherwise, comment leaves in the comment section and I'll make sure that you move forwards. You continually focusing on the trunk and you absolutely dominate. I'll speak to you all soon, guys. Have an incredible, incredible day.